Hello everyone, it's Jerem. Thanks for stopping by our channel. I hope everyone's been doing well. Um, but let's jump right into it. So today we're going to be looking into how distractions can stray us away from what we need to be focusing on, and how important it is to try to stay on focus and not get too distracted. So things that keep us distracted from God and make us lose our focus on God can be extremely dangerous. As believers, we believe that God is the captain of our ships. When you start losing sight of your captain, you start trying to steer your own ship. Not only does this lead to going the wrong way, but it can lead you in the direction of trials, sins, missed opportunities, and missed blessings. When you lose sight of your captain, you start to fear and worry. You start to think, I'm in this by myself. Your captain promised to guide you and help you, but instead of focusing on him, you started focusing on the huge waves and the other sailors that are around you. Now, as technology advances, being distracted from God is becoming easier and easier. Distractions from God could be because of sin, but that's not always the reason. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it reads, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to a man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your abilities. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape that you may be able to endure it." And again, that's from 1 Corinthians 10:13. We're human, and we tend to be very self-focused. It's easy for us to get lost in our own problems and ourselves to a point where we lose sight of God. When we become too focused on ourselves, we are no longer focusing on God. And obviously God loves us and he wants to take care of us himself. But he designed us for more than just to take care of us. He also wants to take care of one another in love with each other and with him. When you're in prayer with God, that's not the only time that you can put focus on him. You could do it in other ways by showing love, or just being kind to your family, thinking of them, thinking of others first. Those are all ways of putting your focus on God, because you're trying to be as close to him as you possible, and he really, he blesses that with that focus. So what are some distractions that can keep people's focus on other things rather than God? Here's two examples: lust and love, which I think that's a major factor for a lot of people as a distraction. People like to think that lust and love are just adolescent issues, but they're not. No matter how old or young you are, lust and love are huge spiritual distractions. We often find ourselves thinking of a crush before we think of God. We find ourselves lost in romantic fantasy or distracted by pornography. We can even get lost in our dating partner to where we no longer focus on our faith and we only focus on the other person. Breakups can also be a huge distraction. As we immerse ourselves in sadness, Christians are very marriage focused, and their desire to get married can be a huge distraction from God and his purpose for our life. Even though it's a great thing, it can still serve as a distraction to what your focus needs to be at and what it needs to be on. Um, Relationships, I think, are easily cause a lot of distraction easily, just because that's where your emotions come from, your heart. If you're like want to make that person happy, you're gonna try and put all your effort into that, which is good to do for your spouse, obviously. But I mean, just at a level where it's not taken away from you, both of your guys' spiritual walk together with God. But it can be easily done, and breakups as well, because of the sadness and the hurt from losing the person, and you're not I mean, that'd probably be the best time where you could put some focus on God with prayer, definitely. And but we get so distracted with those things. In 1 Corinthians 6:13 it reads, "You say, food for the stomach, and the stomach for food, and God will destroy them both. The body, however, is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord of for the body." So what's another distraction that can keep our focus on other things rather than things above? Entertainment is the next one. We all like to be entertained. Television, movies, books, they all provide an escape from our daily lives and sometimes some of the madness in our lives. There's nothing that says we cannot provide ourselves with a little break from reality by being entertained. But when the entertainment gets in the way of our faith in our walk with God, it becomes a spiritual distraction. We need to prioritize what's most important. Should we go see that movie or go to church? If we're choosing entertainment over God, we have given into some of those distractions. With modern technology and the advancements in it, entertainments became a bigger factor in most of our lives. Children are basically raised looking at a screen anymore, and parents kind of even use that as their outlet if to get the kid to, you know, just chill out and kind of not be as jumpy or happy running around the house all the time. So it's become, even in the younger generations, as a distraction right off the bat. They use it in schools even, so they're constantly distracted by this cyber world and all how fast they can, you know, send things to each other and get friends to see things quickly, and whatever's the trend at the moment. It's a lot of distractions, and it's just kind of, it is starting to become bigger and bigger as far as distracting us completely away from even our own real lives at times. Video games, the movies. I mean, there's so many different types of TV shows out there that really can get you, wanting to watch the next episode and binge watch, as they call it. But that's all just another distraction from Satan. And if we're not spending time with God, then we're not spending time in the light, and that's not a good place to be. Let's see what it says here in Romans 12:2. "Do not be conformed of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, and what is good and acceptable and perfect." And see, if you're not focused on God and the light that He is, and His perfectness, we're falling short of that. And where does that leave us? What's opposite of that? It leaves us in darkness, deceit. Because another thing, God is truth. So we can't be deceived by these things that are pleasing to the mind, of our flesh, rather than focusing and putting your time with God and putting your mind on things above, and focusing more on the spiritual part of your life. Um, it's it can be a very quick pleasing thing for the flesh, but your consequences in the end could not be work out in your favor. Another distraction can be service. Even serving God can provide a spiritual distraction. Sure, we may be working for Him, but sometimes we lose sight of God in our own desire to be good servants. A good example of this situation is Martha. She becomes resentful that her sister Mary was not helping her in the kitchen when Jesus came to visit. Yet Jesus reminded her that He needed to come first, not the kitchen work. Her heart wasn't in a godly place. When we're doing God's work, God needs to be the reason behind what and why we're doing it. God is love, and we do not know love. If we do not know love, then we do not know God. I love my family, and I do want to help them in any way possible. I don't like seeing my family stressed or struggling. My goal is to work hard so I can be able to make their lives a little bit easier as best as I can. There's a lot of distractions in our everyday lives, but we have to remember it's not always all about ourselves. We have a family that we are responsible to take care of as well. We have to provide and take care of our family both spiritually and the family of God that He's given and blessed us with. We are living in the end times, and we have to be vigilant as things are unfolding quicker and quicker and at a more rapid pace. Here in Matthew 6:34, it reads, "Therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble." What are a few other distractions that can cause us to lose our focus? Stress can definitely be one of those distractions. Satan uses lots of things in our lives to cause us to stress out, whether it's financial or if it's, your health. Like you can tend to stress out to the point where you get yourself sick, and your brain's just all scattered and rattled and not focused on anything at that time, much less focusing on God. And we got to remember that and keep in mind that stress is not healthy in your spiritual or in your physical being. Stress is a big factor to a lot of things that you do in your life that can cause you to not think, and you react out of that stress rather than taking your time praying to God and focusing on Him, so that knowing that he has your life and He has the will, and you just got to put your trust in Him. Let him drive the boat. And another distraction that I believe is actually kind of a big one, it can be politics. And now we all have our own beliefs and what we expect out of our leaders and stuff, but a lot of times we can get too focused on the politics that the government has out there, and who's going to be running, and where you stand on this and that, and it can turn to arguments. And most of the time people can't talk politics without somebody getting upset or the argument getting kind of heated. um, but it can distract you very easily from God, and we got to once again remember that He's in charge and He does appoint who He wants at that appointed time, and we just got to trust in that. But we do need to have leaders that are in the mindset of God, and doing things in the way that God asks of us to do, for our communities and for each other and for our neighbors and stuff. And we do need good politicians, but we can't let that get in the way of what we need to focus on at all times. But all these things can be distractions in our lives, and it can easily creep in without us even realizing it. But I encourage everybody to spend a lot more time in prayer with God, even meditating, focusing, and thinking and reading the Bible, and just studying His Word, and immersing your life in that first, because no matter what you're going through, whether it's financial, whether it's distractions, like all the examples that I listed on here, just know that God's number one, and He should be our number one priority at all times. And if we find ourselves losing focus, maybe go to a fellow Christian and ask them for some encouragement, and pray. Just ask for prayers. Um, put all your time and focus on God first, and you'll see how much your life becomes a lot more easier and relaxed. Even you find this sense of peace with God, and He does that because He loves us. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and anyone needs prayers as well, leave a comment. If you haven't already, like or subscribe to our channel. And I hope this lesson is a blessing for you all. God bless and have a wonderful day.